Good morning. Of course, where you are, it could be good night. It's morning where I am right now. So welcome to another one of my days. My name is Judy, and this is my channel. And in case you have not been here before, I'd like to welcome you. I just am so appreciative of anybody who stops by, and especially if you leave me some comments or questions, because that's my favorite. Before we do get started, if you wouldn't mind subscribing and hitting that notification bell, I really would really appreciate that. I'm trying to get to 100. I'm nowhere near there yet. I'm pretty sure most people just turn me off as soon as I start talking. But anyway, I want to talk about something today that actually is something I know a lot about personally. It's about being a victim, or maybe I should say playing the victim. Almost like it's a role that you play, you know. And a lot of people do not realize that they're doing it, or even worse, that they actually enjoy it. When we have been actually truly victimized in our life, one way or another, it becomes something that we get used to. And I'm going to just talk about my experience, because obviously I can't talk for everybody else. I'm just talking generally, though. And I have been through therapy, so I kind of see it, I think, pretty clearly. Although I did not see it very clearly for a very long time. In my life, as a child, a young adult, you know, growing up, in my house, for reasons we don't have to talk about here, I could, but you don't care about that. You know, why things happen is a whole other thing, and we all have our own why. But my mother was a very insecure, very unhappy, probably very depressed person. They didn't talk about that kind of stuff back then. I was born in 1955, so there was a lot of hush-hush about mental illness. And I understand, knowing her background, why she probably was the way she was, why she felt the way she felt. And in fact, in later years, I even figured out why she treated me the way she did. But I had a twin sister. I have a twin sister. And we are very different people, and that's beautiful, that's wonderful. But my mother seemed, at least from my point of view, my mother seemed to not really like me all that much, and she seemed to like my sister quite a bit. And, you know, I was probably a difficult child when I think back, you know, not blaming myself for what she did. I mean, she yelled at me, she said mean things to me, she beat me with a cat of nine tails on a bare backside. Even when I was older, which is kind of weird, but it was normal for me. It was normal for me. It wasn't normal for my sister. Her normal was different than mine. But my normal was, okay, if I say something that gets her ticked off, man, she's going to yell, scream loud, get in my face, say mean things, tell me she hated me, I was ugly, all sorts of stuff. And then she'd hit me with this cat of nine tails. Which is just 9 leather straps on, like it was a wooden handle. I think somebody made it for her. It didn't look like it was bought. I don't know. One time, well, not one time, a couple times she burned me with cigarettes. She was just mean. But for me, that was normal. I didn't like it. I felt sad. I'm sure I felt a little bit like, what's wrong with me? You know, because she didn't do it to my sister. So it was a weird kind of a thing that I grew up in. And I'm not telling you that to feel sorry for me, because honest to God, a lot of people have issues like that, and I truly am fine with it now that I understand it. But when I was young, it was really hard to understand. And it did shape the way I acted. I was truly victimized by somebody who had mental problems. When I got older, and I, you know, was out of the house, was married, had kids, it still felt very comfortable for me to kind of play the victim. You know, so if something would happen, I can't even give you a good example, but it could be anything. if something would happen that seemed to be going against me or arguing with the way I saw things or anything that somebody said to me that made me feel sad or bad, my immediate reaction was to feel like a victim. That's what I was raised with. It was natural. I didn't even think about it. I really didn't even think about it. Just was who I was. And so if somebody said something mean to me, and I hung out sometimes with people who were mean because that's what I was used to. It's so weird the way psychology works, you know? Even without the spiritual part of it, it's I mean, obviously it's karmic and I'm supposed to do that, right? But I still, at the time, it was like, I was hurt a lot. I cried a lot on my own, in the dark, nobody knew. Like, because I knew that if I cried in front of somebody, I'd either make them feel bad, which I never wanted to do because I knew how that felt. And number two, they'd get mad at me for crying. Then I'd be a victim again, you know? So I had years, almost 50 years of my life, where I played the victim, meaning that I actually kind of enjoyed it. I didn't know I was enjoying it. I had no idea I was enjoying it. But I would it was so easy for me to believe the worst about who I was. It was so easy to think that if somebody said something nice to me, I couldn't believe that. And because I would say to myself, the negative talk would start, you know, you're not that good, you're not that nice. That person's just saying that, they don't mean it, you know, things like that. And I was a people pleaser. I definitely tried to fix everybody, you know, because I needed fixed. I was putting it out there and I needed to put it in here, you know. And I had a friend, a very wise friend. We used to talk about spiritual stuff, you know. And I had a situation with another person who I thought was my friend. I think I'm going to actually talk about that in a different video. So I think that's an important thing too. Actually, it's a very important point to make, but that's later. But anyway, I had a situation with a friend of mine, and my friend Peter, who I was talking to about spiritual matters, he was so wise. He didn't always walk his talk, but he was good for those one-liners that were just would floor you, you know. And I was saying, oh, you know, this person's doing this and that, and this, no, you know, I don't know what to do. And he said something like, well, can't you just, you know, tell him how you feel? Or, you know, I did, but he doesn't care how I feel, you know, whiny, crying. I look back now and think, God, what a complainer I was. But it's all I knew. You know, I wanted to be a victim. I wanted everybody to feel sorry for me. Truly. I just wanted everybody. That's how I thought I would be loved. I thought that if somebody would feel sorry for me, then they would care about me. And I guess it's a mommy issue, right? Anyway, now it seems clear, but at the time I was in it, swimming around in that quicksand, you know. So after I was done complaining a little bit more, Peter said, wow, you are really enjoying that, aren't you? I said, what do you mean enjoying what? Enjoying being a victim. What do you mean? I don't enjoy being a victim. It's not my fault that people treat me this way. I'm not talking about the way they treat you. I'm talking about the way you're reacting to it. You are playing the victim, I mean, to the hilt. I was a little bit insulted. I kind of felt like a victim when he said that to me. And I know he cared about me, but what do you mean? I am a victim in many ways, and why would somebody treat me like that? I didn't do anything wrong. He said, well, you can keep on doing that if you want to. If you like it, keep on doing it. Just be a victim the rest of your life. Well, I couldn't get mad at him because I was afraid he'd walk away. You know, I also had abandonment issues. Now you know I am crazy. She's going, no wonder all those videos sound nutty because she knows she's got problems. Well, the problems are gone. well, as much as they can be gone in a human psyche, but I got therapy. I definitely recommend therapy. I also got spirituality that came walking on my door or knocking on my door and changed a lot of things. But anyway, so we talked for a while. I don't remember the rest of the conversation. Hung up, and we were on the phone, And I thought, how could he say something like that to me? That is like so mean. I'm no way enjoying this. Not realizing that in some way I was enjoying it because it felt normal, it felt comfortable, and even when I wasn't being victimized, I found a way to feel victimized, and then I would tell everybody about it so that they would feel sorry for me. And then I thought they'd love me, or at least care. That part I didn't know at the time. So it was about 2 weeks after that conversation with Peter, I had a dream. And I used to be the children's choir director at our Presbyterian church. And I've talked about that, long time ago, one of the very first videos. And I dreamt that I was at the back of the church with the children. And we were going to sing a song. I don't know what, it must have been Easter or Christmas because the church in my dream was jam-packed. It was full. And that doesn't really happen except on holidays. So I was really excited about this. And in our church, there were pews in the middle, and then there were aisles on the side, and then there were more pews on the outside. So we didn't have one pew one aisle going down. We had two that went down, which probably was weird for weddings, right? But anyway. So I had the kids lined up to come down both aisles and meet at the front, and then there was like a little stage, and they were going to get their place on stage, and then I was going to come down. In my dream, I did never do it that way in real life, but this was in my dream. So I was going to come down, and just as I got to the front of the church, now this is me talking to myself in my dream. Like in my mind, in my dream, I'm planning what I'm doing. I'm saying to myself in my dream, I'll walk down the aisle, and when I get right to the end where the steps go up to get on the stage, I'm going to pretend to faint. And when I pretend to faint, everybody will come running over to see if I'm okay. I said that to myself, like planning it out in my dream. And so what happened, the children walked down the aisle. They got up on their little thing and onto the stage. And I walked down in a really pretty dress. And I walked out, it was the left aisle, not the right aisle. I walked down there. And just as I got to the front part of where the pews were, I went, I fainted, which I've never done in my life, but I'm sure it was very dramatic in my dream. What happened? All the people ran over. Judy, are you okay? Somebody got me a glass of water and a cool wash rag, and everybody loved me and everybody was caring about me. Everybody was worried, and it was so wonderful. And then I woke up. And the very first thought in my head was the memory of Peter saying, "You're really enjoying that, aren't you?" And all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, I am. Not only am I enjoying the little things that happen and I make them a little bit more exciting because I want people to pay attention to me, but I was dreaming about it. I was telling myself don't you hate when somebody else is right? It actually was a turning point for me. Because then I started to notice when I was doing it. I started going, oh, wait, I'm playing the victim, And then after a while I stopped doing it altogether because it was a waste of time and it was fake caring anyway. It wasn't real. I was trying to make them care about me. And you know what? When you meet somebody who all they do is complain or have sad stories about their life, this and that, blah, blah, blah. After a while, at first you might go, oh, that's terrible. She's, But after a while, you're like, oh God, does she ever tell us anything positive? I don't even want to talk to her. I know she's going to tell me something bad happened. Like, people don't even want to be around you after a while, because all you do is complain. Or play the victim. Poor Judy. Oh, poor Judy. Everything happens to her. So I was actually creating the thing I didn't want. I was making happen the thing I was trying not to have happen, because of, I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being myself. I was spending way too much time feeling sorry for myself. And even though that was a familiar feeling, I had to step back and say, well, what am I supposed to be feeling? So spirituality helped me quite a bit. Peter, that line, you really enjoy that? That was big. That was enormous for me. And that dream, of course, really sealed the deal. But with learning about life, reincarnation, death, our purpose, all these kinds of things that I have learned earlier, and then about 3 years ago, I also had, actually 3 years ago tomorrow, I'll say 3 years ago tonight and tomorrow, in the next 48 hours, 3 years ago, I had a very life-altering experience happen spiritually that kind of was a bigger turning point for me, as far as understanding a lot of things, about being human. Anyway, so if you're the type of person that likes to get attention by telling people sad things about yourself, and really enjoys it, you may have very well had the same kind of experience I had on some level. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. I mean, not every mother burns their kids with cigarettes, but but you may have learned to sit in unhappiness, being a victim, and because that's how you were during your childhood, it became normal for you. And if it wasn't happening, you were uncomfortable. Uncomfortable being complimented, uncomfortable even being happy, afraid of being happy because something would definitely, knock you down. So if you feel that way, I want you to realize that in the long run, if you try really hard to understand yourself, why that happened, there's a reason. And karmically, if you look at life, just recognizing that you are burdening your own soul by looking at the negative, defeatist kind of things, instead of looking at the beauty and the wonder that we are. So spiritually, it may be a necessary experience, because I believe it probably 100% is, whatever. But we don't have to go, well, this is what I came here to learn. This is one of the things I wanted to get, so I've got it now, and I just better keep getting it, because that's one of my karmic reasons to be here. Or you can do what soul is supposed to do and move forward. Find another way to look at it. Find out who you authentically are. Don't think that the things that people put on you, whether they're words, feelings, whatever, that's not really you, that's them. I just pointed opposite. It's not really you, it's them. And so recognize that they're in their own thing karmically. And between you, there could be karma. I'm going to talk about that more, because that's really important. But just because a situation is what it is, we don't have to accept it as, that's the way I'm going to have to live this life. Just imagine all the experiences you've had if you decided that any one of them is the one experience you're supposed to be here for. It's not that simple. We're here for that added karma, that fate, that destiny that we agreed to, but there's a whole lot of learning going on. during life. So, I just wanted to put that out there because spiritually, it really did make a difference in my life to understand that I was actually enjoying and playing that game for attention. And I wasn't getting one darn thing out of it. Not really. Just because I was playing the victim, people got sick of me. I mean, they would walk away, and I'd go, why did they walk away? I'm such a victim. It was just a snowball going down the hill, until my wise friend Peter said that to me, and I had that dream. Sometimes I think his soul might have snuck into my dream to make me have that dream, to show me what he was talking about. I don't know how that works, but I do know that I'm very, very happy that I figured it out, and that now I can live my life free of having the burden of thinking of myself as a victim. I'm a lot happier. So that's it for today. I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you found something that maybe, hit home. It maybe you can make some decisions for yourself as well. Remember that just because you actually were a victim doesn't mean you have to be one the rest of your life. If you liked what I said, hit that like button for me. And don't forget to come back. I'll be talking to you soon.